Woo! I hope you got that massage oil ready, Deshaun, because you're going to need it.
Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
You want to see the best defensive line in football? Well, just take a look at your screen. This is the best defensive line in football, and I'm going to show you why. So last week, Giants fans were pulling their hair out because the Giants defensive coordinator was not being aggressive. He didn't send blitzes. He didn't do stunts. He just said, hey, line up 4 guys and just rush. That's what he said. Just line up and just rush straight upfield. None of the best defensive lines in the league do that. None of the best defensive lines are going to do that because it's just not efficient. Why not use all of your players' skill sets to the best? So take a look here. You got Azeez Ojulari, backup. This is a backup, folks. You got Kayvon Thibodeaux here on the other side. They're in this wide position, and this time, this makes sense. They can just come straight up the field. They can come straight up the field, and that gives room for you to send Micah McFadden around the corner. That makes room for you to send Dex over here. And that makes room for Okereke to come straight down to the line of scrimmage. And what that's going to do is guarantee that you got a free rusher. You're going to have a free rusher. You're sending both linebackers. You have your edges spaced out wide apart. And you got this man, this mountain of a man, moving. I mean, there's nothing that you can do. With Dexter Lawrence on a stunt, there's absolutely nothing you can do. He's too big. He moves laterally too quickly. So they don't know, should I be ready to get bull rushed or should I be ready for this guy to loop around me? So just take a look here. It all comes in motion and there's no way. This is chaos. It is complete and utter chaos, folks. Dex is looping around. There's nothing you can do there. You got McFadden, who's a nice blitzer. You got the running back going to go pick him up. But what about Dex? What about Dex? And then you got everybody else. I mean, this is impossible to stop, folks. Impossible to stop. And then take a look here. Take a look at DeJuan Jones, your right tackle, 79, trying to block Azeez Ojulari. Just right around him. Just right around him. This is completely unstoppable. This is unstoppable. If these players wake up and decide that they want to play like they can play, this is an unstoppable defensive line. All right, so things are never what they seem. Things are never what they seem, people. Kayvon Thibodeaux is going to get a hit on Deshaun Watson, and this is a play I didn't even notice. All I noticed is Deshaun Watson hits Amari Cooper deep for a touchdown. This is the Browns' first play of the game. This defense did not get demoralized because they took a look and said, I got around Jedrick Wills pretty quick. So take a look at Kayvon Thibodeaux right here with his hair out. He should keep his hair out this entire rest of the season. Kayvon Thibodeaux is going to loop around Jedrick Wills and realize, hey, I got around him pretty quick and put a hit on Deshaun Watson. Take a look here. Easy stuff. And yes, Amari Cooper makes an improbable sideline grab because Deonte Banks is always there, but he never wants to play the football. Could have been an interception or at least a deflection. But nonetheless, Kayvon Thibodeaux has got his hands on the quarterback. And this is a perfect reason why you should not judge a game off of the first play of the game. All right, so this one's for all my folks that say Dex can't play 3-tech. Dex is only good now because he's playing 0. I think Dex is probably the best nose tackle. He's going to go down as the best nose tackle in NFL history. But take a look at him here. He's going to loop around here. Kayvon Thibodeaux is going to loop around him. And you got Dex on an offensive tackle. An offensive tackle is not used to the power that Dexter Lawrence is bringing, and you get exactly what you would expect. A sack from Dexter Lawrence. Take a look here. Thibodeaux on the inside, Dex outside. Dex wraps him up. Pinnock is there. This is completely unstoppable. All right, folks, so we're going to sprinkle in some run plays here and there and just take a look. I need to say nothing. I'll probably end up saying something, but I don't need to say a thing. Look at the pursuit by this defense. Look at the pursuit. Look at the pursuit. Look at the energy. This defense came energized and ready to go. These folks were not playing around. And if they play with this same intensity, this is the backup DJ Davison doing work in the run game. So I'm sure Dexter Lawrence right here is happy that he has Brian Burns over here. People were giving Brian Burns the business last couple of weeks, saying that he was the biggest draft bust or the biggest free agency bust that the Giants have ever, signed since Kenny Golladay. He's just going to be this big disappointment at edge rusher. I said, give it some seasoning. And take a look at Brian Burns. He's going to swoop this corner here. Yes, he's going against Joel Bitonio, a guard, but he did it against the starters, too. They just got hurt. It wasn't his fault. But Dex is going to pretty much hold here, almost keep him contained here. He's going to sit there and just kind of bench press his man. And because of the pressure from Brian Burns, Deshaun Watson steps right into Dexter Lawrence. And just take a look here. He just steps right into Dexter Lawrence. And that's all because of Brian Burns. And you get a fumble. We don't get it that time. But that's because of the pressure from Brian Burns. Dex is getting sacks that other guys are creating. Who would have thought that that could ever happen? So a quick word from Underdog. No longer Underdog Fantasy. The picks are in for me this week. I went with Dak Prescott higher than 263.5 yards. I went with the freebie with Patrick Mahomes over a half of yard. I went with Daniel Jones higher than 202.5 passing yards. I went with Devin Singletary higher than 82.5 rushing and receiving yards combined. Slam dunk. I went with Wan'Dale Robinson for higher than 2.5 first quarter receiving yards. I think these are locks. Go ahead and place your pick'ems this week. Use code DIGGY. You get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Now let's get back to it. All right, the Browns offensive line and the Browns offensive staff, their coach and their staff, all of them, they should be ashamed of themselves for what they did to Dawand Jones. They know this guy has bricks in his shoes. He cannot move. Look at where Kayvon Thibodeaux is lined up. Look how far out Kayvon Thibodeaux is lined up. This guy has absolutely no shot of covering this distance. He has no shot at covering that distance. You got a receiver in between of them. He's got to make sure he's not bumping into that receiver. He's a big, clunky guy. There's no way that he's going to be able to get here, to get to that spot. It's just not going to happen. And it's honestly, I just don't understand. You need to put the running back over here because Azeez Ojulari is kind of lined up closer to Jedrick Wills, and you probably trust him better than Dawand Jones. But Dawand Jones got abused all game by everybody. He got abused by everybody. Take a look at Kayvon Thibodeaux. He's going to barely touch him. Barely touch him. And that's how you lose the football. That's how you get a sack there. Azeez ends up cleaning it up. But that's all because Dawand Jones got abused. He got no help the entire game. And he just got abused by everyone that lined up over top of him. All right, folks, take a look at Brian Burns against Dawand Jones this time. Brian Burns is the guy that forced the fumble that allowed the Giants to get the ball back at the end of the half and put our lead to 21-7. This is a crucial point in the game because the way that this offense of the Giants played in the second half, we may not win this game if Burns doesn't do this. So Burns is going to loop around Dawand Jones and force this fumble. And again, I'm surprised that the guy didn't get more help over there. I really am. And he's got a max protect over there. The running back isn't worried about him, and you got the ball out. And this is what I'm saying. This is the guy that you all gave up on. This is the guy that you all gave up on, Brian Burns. Not many guys can turn the corner like that. Next play, just take a look at Azeez. He's messed up on Dawand Jones. Whoever watched Chris Smoove back in the day, he would say whoever offense on Steve Nash or whoever offense on this, well, this is whoever defense on Dawand Jones. And he's just going to run right around him. He's going to loop the corner. And it's just easy stuff. Again, he has no help. And it's an easy pressure. And this is what should have gotten Dex his third sack. But because of an intentional grounding, he didn't get credit for it. All right, now, folks, Brian Burns' nickname is Spider-Man. And right here, he looks like Spider-Man. This guy is an athlete's athlete. He's the athlete that he's an athlete's athlete. That's all I can say about him. He's going to start off here in a wide 9 stance. His hand is in the dirt, but this is essentially a wide 9 kind of stance. And he ends up in the middle of the line of scrimmage in a blink of an eye and hits the quarterback. This is the ridiculous kind of stunt that you can run when you have the personnel that the New York Giants have. I really hope that Shane Bowen continues to do this because this is ridiculous stuff here. Take a look. He's going to juke this guy out, whoop, whoop, and get in there and hit this guy's hand. Take a look. Take a look at the ground he covers. Crazy stuff, folks. And again, this is the guy that you said was the biggest free agency bust that the Giants have ever signed. And if Deonte Banks turned around, shout out to Deonte Banks. He's never looking for the football. If he was, that'd be an interception, but it is what it is. All right, take a look here. Brian Burns, again, is just going to it's like he had his Marvel powers on. It's like he is the amazing Spider-Man, because nobody really touches him. Nobody's able to really block him. He does get pretty close. A guy kind of turns around and realizes, whoa, I just let the guy run straight towards my quarterback. But at this point, the play is done. Deshaun Watson is already off target because Brian Burns is in his lap. So on his next play, I just kind of felt bad for Deshaun Watson. I just kind of felt bad for him, but not really. But essentially, you got Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns kind of taking up the attention of the entire middle to right side of the offensive line. And then there's just guys just pursuing from everywhere. Micah McFadden coming in, Pinnock in there, chasing them down. No one's open downfield. Take a look at what you see downfield. No one's open there. And he's under this kind of pressure. This is ridiculous stuff from Shane Bowen. He called a masterclass. All right, this is more beautiful work from Shane Bowen. Take a look at Bobby Okereke. He's going to fake like he's rushing, and then he's going to loop around here. He's going to loop all the way around the center. You're going to have Dex switch a gap. You're going to have Chapman switch a gap. And essentially what you're going to see is Elijah Chapman is just kind of like, whoa, no one's really blocking me. So I might as well get the quarterback. I might as well go get him. And this is his first sack of his NFL career. I think he'll have about 3 or 4 more of them because there's one guy on him. Take a look at the attention that Dex is getting. Take a look at the attention that Brian Burns is getting. Take a look at the 2 chips on both sides. We love to talk about what Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeaux are doing, but take a look at their path to the quarterback. Take a look at Kayvon. He's pressing a guy, then he's rushing. Now take a look at Brian Burns. He's getting blocked by the tight end. Get off me. Then he's rushing. And then you got Dex. 2 guys are on him. And then you got Okereke taking up the right guard. And Chapman is just one-on-one with the quarterback. Beautiful stuff. So this defense is playing inspired. They're playing inspired. They're playing out of their minds. And they took what happened the first 2 weeks of the season. They took it personally. So I just want you all to focus on nobody but Dexter Lawrence right here. Nobody but Dexter Lawrence right here. So as you see Dex, take a look at how he holds up in short yardage. Take a look at that arm, hook the guy, and completely stop them from picking up a first down. Take a look at that. Take a look at this strength from this superhuman. This guy's a superhero. Take a look at that. Is that not ridiculous? Is that not ridiculous? This is the best defensive lineman in football, and I think he's on the best defensive line in football. This is completely ridiculous behavior from Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeaux and Shane Bowen and Azeez Ojulari and Elijah Chapman. I'm excited to see what they do this game against the Cowboys. A little bit better offensive line than the Browns, but a young offensive line. And this is their time to continue to prove that they are among the top of the league, if not the best defensive line in football. We sacked Deshaun Watson 8 times. If you're interested in seeing how many times we sacked Dak Prescott, check me out tomorrow on the channel live at 8:30.